Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. This is the WINRAD Broadcasting Service, and I am Walter Hartley, bringing you the evening news on this holy Saturday, April the 4th, 2026. We are now in the 36th day of the war with Iran. And tonight, for the first time in this conflict, American warplanes have been shot out of the sky. 2 of them. An F-15E Strike Eagle went down over central Iran. 1 pilot has been rescued. 1 is missing tonight. A second aircraft, an A-10 Warthog, was struck near the Strait of Hormuz. That pilot ejected and was recovered. In Tehran, there are celebrations in the streets. In Washington, the Defense Secretary has fired the Army's top general. Oil has crossed $111 a barrel, and Pope Leo XIV has called the President of Israel and urged him to reopen all paths of dialogue. We have a great deal to tell you on this, the eve of Easter. We go first to Edward James Whitmore in Washington.
2 United States combat aircraft were lost on Friday. The Pentagon confirmed that an F-15E Strike Eagle, a 2-seat fighter bomber based at RAF Lakenheath in England, was shot down over central Iran by what the Revolutionary Guard described as a new advanced air defense system. 1 crew member was rescued during a search and rescue operation. The status of the second remains unknown. The aircraft is believed to be from the 48th Fighter Wing. Iranian media published photographs of debris that independent analysts confirmed appear consistent with an F-15 airframe. Hours later, a second aircraft, an A-10 Thunderbolt, was struck by Iranian fire near the Strait of Hormuz. The pilot was able to navigate the aircraft out of Iranian territory before ejecting over the Gulf and was subsequently recovered. Iran claims the plane crashed into the Persian Gulf. These are the first confirmed losses of manned American combat aircraft in this war. The president said in his address Wednesday night that the United States had completely eliminated Iran's anti-aircraft capabilities. A Democratic congressman responded Friday that the commander-in-chief does not know what he is talking about, and that such claims put American troops at grave risk. In a development that has stunned the Pentagon, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth abruptly fired the United States Army's top general and 2 other senior officers on Friday. The firings prompted immediate speculation of a wartime leadership shakeup. No public explanation was given. The White House is also seeking roughly $1.5 trillion for defense in its fiscal 2027 budget request, an increase of more than 40% over last year. It would be the highest military spending in modern American history. The budget includes funding for munitions, expansion of the naval fleet, and the president's planned Golden Dome missile defense system, along with pay raises of 5 to 7% for all military personnel. Oil prices surged on the news of the downed aircraft and continued fighting. Benchmark United States crude rose 11.4% to $111.54 per barrel. Brent crude jumped 7.8% to $109.03. European and American stock markets were closed for Good Friday, but futures trading pointed sharply downward. The April 6th deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz is now 2 days away. The president has threatened to destroy Iran's power plants, oil infrastructure, and desalination facilities if the deadline passes without compliance. International law experts have told NPR that such threats constitute warnings of war crimes under both international and American law.
Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. We go now to Theodore Charles Bennett overseas.
The strikes on Iran widened again on Friday. American and Israeli forces hit the Pasteur Institute in Tehran, a century-old medical research center that is one of Iran's most important public health institutions. A drone strike hit a Red Crescent aid warehouse in Bushehr province. Steel plants, bridges, and residential areas were struck across the country. The death toll in Iran has now reached 2,076, with 26,500 wounded. Iran's foreign ministry said more than 600 schools and education centers have been damaged or destroyed since the war began. In the Gulf, Iran struck Kuwait's largest oil refinery, the Mina al-Ahmadi facility, with drones early Friday, sparking fires in several operational units. Emergency teams are working to contain the blaze. In the United Arab Emirates, authorities suspended operations at the Habshan gas facility after falling debris from intercepted missiles caused a fire. Kuwait's airspace remains closed. Its citizens are being bused to airports in Saudi Arabia to fly out of the region. Iran's parliament speaker, Ghalibaf, mocked the United States' search for the missing pilot. He wrote on social media that the American war had been downgraded from regime change to asking if anyone could find their pilots. In Tehran, crowds celebrated the downing of the 2 aircraft. Iran's military said the successful strikes demonstrate that its forces retain the capability to fight. The Revolutionary Guard threatened to hit major bridges in Gulf countries in retaliation for the destruction of Iran's largest bridge by American forces on Thursday. On the diplomatic front, Pope Leo XIV spoke by telephone with Israeli President Isaac Herzog on Friday and urged him to reopen all paths of dialogue and to protect civilians. The Pope has emerged as one of the sharpest international critics of the war. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization reported that world food prices climbed in March to their highest level since September of last year and warned that if the conflict continues, farmers worldwide will face impossible choices about what to plant and how much to invest. Pakistan continues to push for direct talks between Washington and Tehran, but acknowledged that there are obstacles. Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, typically seen as one of the president's closest European allies, said publicly on Friday that she disagrees with his criticism of European nations and that Italy must defend its own national interests. She is in Saudi Arabia securing emergency energy supplies, and with that, I send it back to you, Walter.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more story tonight. On this Holy Saturday, as we wait between the cross and the resurrection, it is worth noting what is not in the headlines. In communities across this country, churches are preparing for the Easter Vigil tonight. Families are coloring eggs and setting tables. Children are laying out their Sunday clothes. The world outside is dark. But inside these homes and these churches, the light is being tended. That is what we do. We tend the light even when the wind is blowing hard, especially when the wind is blowing hard. 36 days, 2 American planes down, 1 pilot missing tonight somewhere in central Iran, oil at $111, a century-old research institute in ruins, a pope calling for peace, and tomorrow is Easter. Hold them close tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hold especially close the family of the man who is missing. Wherever he is tonight, he is someone's son. This is Walter Hartley for the WINRAD Broadcasting Service. And now, from the home front, here is Dorothy Wilson.
Well, good evening, ladies. A blessed Holy Saturday to you. Now, I hope you made that ham glaze on Friday night like I told you, because tomorrow it is going to do all the work for you. But tonight, I want to give you one more thing for your Easter table, and this one is sweet. This is my grandmother's Easter bread pudding, and it is the kind of dessert that makes people close their eyes when they take the first bite. Here is what you need. About 6 cups of day-old bread torn into rough pieces. Any bread will do. White, wheat, leftover dinner rolls, even hot dog buns if that is what you have. Do not be proud about it. 2 cups of whole milk, 4 eggs, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 cup of melted butter, and here is what makes it Easter. A handful of raisins, maybe 1/3 of a cup, and if you have any leftover jelly beans or chocolate eggs from the children's baskets, chop a few of those up and toss them in too. The children will think you are a genius. Now, put the bread pieces in a big bowl and pour the milk over them. Let that sit for about 10 minutes so the bread soaks it all up and gets soft. In a separate bowl, whisk together the eggs, sugar, vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and melted butter. Pour that mixture over the soaked bread and fold it all together gently. You are not stirring cake batter. You are folding. Easy does it. Add the raisins and whatever little sweets you have and fold them in. Pour everything into a greased 9x13 baking dish and spread it out evenly. Now here is the important part. You can make this tonight and put it in the icebox, covered, and bake it tomorrow morning while the ham is resting. Or you can bake it tonight and serve it warm or at room temperature tomorrow. Either way works beautifully. Into the oven at 350 for 40 to 45 minutes until the top is golden brown and puffed up and a knife stuck in the center comes out clean. When it comes out of the oven, the house fills up with this smell that is, well, it is cinnamon and vanilla and warm bread and butter, and it smells like every good Easter morning you have ever had. Serve it in squares, warm or room temperature, with a dusting of powdered sugar on top if you have it. A little drizzle of cream if you are feeling fancy. But it does not need anything. It is perfect as it is. $4, 6 cups of bread that was going stale anyway. And tomorrow, when your family pushes back from the table and someone says that was the best Easter dinner we have ever had, you will know it was the bread pudding that did it. Happy Easter, ladies. To every one of you, whatever this week has brought, whatever the news has carried into your living room, tomorrow is a day of hope. Set a beautiful table, light a candle, say grace, and know that you are loved. Good night and God bless.